Good afternoon, everybody. I'm KCReginaldJr.
It's your man J Dub, Justin Waters in the building.
Welcome to Underdawg Sportz.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It is a lot to cover, and we've been going 2 hours for the last, 3 weeks? So let's jump right into it. We're going to start off in the NBA like we have kind of made a tradition now, and Melo's warning to Chris Paul about joining the Houston Rockets.
So basically, I read an article on ESPN that they interviewed Carmelo Anthony stating that when everything went down with him with the Rockets, he first got called Chris Paul into the office. Remember, he was basically designated to leave while they were on the road. He talked to Chris Paul and wanted to know if he did it because they are friends. Chris Paul said he had no clue what was going on, didn't know and didn't like it because, again, they're friends. They're part of that quote-unquote banana boat crew, him, Braun, Wade, and Paul. So anyway, make a long story short, Chris Paul now in a follow-up interview basically stated, hey, when the trade happened where got him in OKC and Russ here in Houston, he was caught off guard. He said, yeah, he heard the little beef rumors and everything, but he didn't really think anything of it, and reached out to James Harden, and, of course, James didn't respond, and neither did Daryl Morey, and next thing you know, CP3 is a Thunder now. My biggest thing is the Rockets still need more help, but by trading, Daryl Morey is a wizard at trading, but you can only trade but so many assets.
A wizard? Hold on. A wizard? A wizard?
Oh, well, he gets these trades to come off. I mean, think about it. He's done a trade almost every trade line in every offseason since he's been there. And somehow no one expected to see CP3 get traded for Russ.
Oh, he does get trades done. However, are the Rockets always the winner of these trades?
No. But let's take hindsight. A lot of people did think that the Rockets were the winners of the CP3 trade. Now, real basketball fans knew better.
But a lot of people, not me.
Okay, a lot of people. Let's be clear, because neither did I.
Okay.
A lot of people, as far as Houston Rockets were concerned, Houston Rockets fans, diehards, thought they won this deal. I did not think they won this deal because the fact of the matter is you're trading a bunch of players also for aging players. Will that work out? Usually the case is no. But, okay, we'll give it benefit of the doubt. CP3 he hadn't been away from an all-star game at that point for a long time. So, hey, maybe he will resurge and become the old CP3 like he was back in his early Clipper days and late New Orleans days. Didn't happen. My question, Daryl Morey has been the wizard for trades, but he's going to need free agency coming up. Can he, with all this stuff, and basically this is Harden's team, and they've made it clear with removals of everybody from Dwight Howard to Jeremy Lin to CP3, you name it, they're gone. If James has an issue, they're gone. Can this be the point where, they can bring in another free agent? Because they're not going to win the West without another player. They're just not that set. Can they bring in another player to win this league? Would I trust Morey? Would I trust the Rockets? Would I trust D'Antoni if I was a high-power free agent to come to the Rockets, knowing that if James has a fit, I may be traded to Timbuktu. I may be a Charlotte Hornet or worse, come the next offseason.
Do you trust Morley? No. Do you trust the Rockets organization? No. It's a lot to this whole Chris Paul thing. He's done a few interviews in the last few months, and it really makes Daryl Morey look bad and attracting free agents in the future looking very bleak as long as he's the general manager. He better be a wizard at trades, because if not, they're not going to get any turnover at all.
Because remember, people fail to realize, the trade was good on paper for CP3 versus for CP3 and Russ, but Russ can opt out after next season. People forget about that one. And if he opts out, then what are the Rockets going to do?
I mean, they have a
Because
boatload of money at that point, though.
they have a boatload of money, but with a boatload of money means you got to bring somebody in that's willing to take it.
And I mean,
the Rockets,
they don't have trades anymore either. So yeah.
Right, but the Rockets got to be careful before they start looking like the New York Knicks. They have one star, but the Knicks had one star when Carmelo in his prime, and they couldn't get anybody else but Carmelo to come. And look what happened. Now, I'm not blaming Carmelo for their destruction. That was somewhat Phil Jackson and definitely everything dealing with the owners.
But Melo was definitely a part of that because a lot like James Harden, other superstars did not want to play with.
Because remember, if people fail to realize, Melo was supposed to be part of that actual Miami Heat crew. It wasn't supposed to be Bosh. LeBron and Wade went to Melo saying, "Hey, you should play with us," because they were cool with Bosh, but they weren't as cool with Bosh. When Melo decided to go with the money and said, "Nah, I ain't gonna play with y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and take the money and be the savior in New York," Bron and Wade smartly, they went to Bosh, and that was actually a better move because they got a big versus a guy that's pretty much going to play the same position as Bron when he feel like it, and took over. But to go back to it, if no one wants to play with you, how are you going to win games?
That's the issue, and that's what I'm saying. You can kind of blame Melo for the destruction of the New York Knicks because no one wanted to play with him either. This is, I think you're trying to make two things that are a lot similar, separate, but Melo is that same player. I need to touch the ball on every possession. I don't really care for passing the ball, and basically if I make it or miss, it's basically how our offense does that day. And that's a lot of what James Harden is. In addition to up until I'll say this season, I'll kind of give him half of last season. He also didn't play defense. So between those two things, it makes it really hard for somebody that their goal is to win a championship to think, hey, I'll go ahead and I'll suit up with James.
Because the thing is stat-wise, you're going to get James is going to have great stats, but he's going to go along at this rate. Now, James is I think he just hit 30, 29, 30, around that.
He hit
at this
yesterday? Averaging?
No, not points, his age.
Oh, he's 31, I think he's around, I believe. 31.
At this point of his career, if he doesn't start trying to change his game along a little bit, he's going to be like Melo. Now, granted, Melo is going to the Hall of Fame. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. First ballot, that's debatable.
I don't know that that's even debatable. He deserves to be first ballot.
He does, but in fact, we'll bring up another Rockets legend that had issues, T-Mac. Yeah, you can score your ass off. You can score 50, 60 points, whatever. You can score, but who else wants to play with you? Now, T-Mac did have Yao, but realistically speaking, Yao wasn't going to go from Houston. Yao was always hurt, and Yao wasn't going to use Houston because of the Chinese market. The only other market he would go to that would give him that much love for the Asian population is either L.A., which at that time was Shaq and Kobe, so you ain't touching that. The Clippers, yeah, right. Or New York, yeah, right, again. So in Chicago, which was a mess at that point too. So none of the markets Yao would have left. He was perfectly fine here in Houston. And we treated him, the Rockets treated him like a god. Harden, same thing. I'm just saying I don't see at this rate, if this Russ experiment doesn't work, I don't know what you do as far as the Rockets are concerned. They can't trade Harden because he's too talented to trade, but I don't know what you can do to get him to get it past that first or second round threshold.
Yeah, you can't trade James Harden. He's untradeable. Nobody else wants James Harden. I mean, I guess there's some maybe. He is a great scorer. The Knicks would love him, but you can't
box office.
You can't build a team around James Harden. I think that part is clear. I think the Rockets have proven that so far in every attempt to do so. With Dwight, then CP3, now with Russ. Now, I like how Russ is coming along with this system, though. He's finally starting to play better. If it's not Russ, and the only reason I give them Russ because Russ is a lot similar player, while more people are more willing to play with Russ. I just don't think that those people believe they can win with Russ. I think the Rockets' major problem is going to be down the stretch. Can anybody close against a team that is equal or greater than them? Until then, I don't know that the Rockets will ever win a championship.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that one. It's going to be a tough one just because it seems like LeBron is the ultimate recruiter. He gets everybody he wants. So until LeBron retires, the Rockets are in trouble because now Kawhi is now the ultimate recruiter number 2. So if you can, Kawhi is sitting there convince a friend of his to actually go to a team and say, I want traded now, he just got traded to. Yeah, then you got the guy, like I said, Portland's right now, they 10-16, but Damian Lillard, people like Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's probably not going to leave Portland. I mean, he's a West Coast guy. It's the only other team I can see him. And he's from Oakland. He's not going to Golden State. But, yeah, I just don't see it happening. But as far as the Rockets will be pretty much a middle-of-the-pack team like they were the T-Mac years if they can get another superstar. But it's hard to play with another superstar if James is not willing to do it. Being clear, the White-Harden experiment should have worked. If they would have put their collective heads together and threw egos aside, it could have worked.
I think that's a stretch because at that point, Dwight was the man. He had been used to being the man. So he had no other choice but try to be exactly that, the man.
Exactly. But it could have been like a Shaq and Kobe type thing. They didn't like each other, but they knew they had to play until it was too late, until it was basically we got rings now so we can act like dicks. But they could do it for the team, for each other.
Yeah. So I guess we have 2 topics. We had topic 1, which was Rockets. Topic 2 which was Rockets. The other part of that is their bench scoring, and if you want to move on from Eric Gordon and Austin Rivers. I'm going to start off with I don't see a scenario where they should consider trading Austin Rivers. I kind of put Austin and his ability coming off their bench as to where they should not have moved from Lou Williams. I think he's that critical to their bench, him and McLemore. And I don't think it's any scenario I can see them trading him. Because, A, who are you going to upgrade? And where are you going to upgrade at? B, the other part of that is Eric Gordon has finally started working out again. For the first time, I'm ready for Eric Gordon to be traded because Ben McLemore is filling that role, and he's doing it a little better than what Eric Gordon has been doing at least so far this year. So I don't see a need for Eric Gordon. If you can get something for him, great. Trade him. But I'm not moving Austin at all. He's very critical to their defense, that second unit, and he can score when that's his mentality. So I like him a little too much to consider trading him.
The only reason why I'm agreeing with you to a certain point is the only reason why I would trade Eric Gordon is the fact of the matter is Austin is a better closer and the defense, and this is a team that severely lacks defense. So if you losing one of your better defenders, yeah,
and
because
he's
Eric
not
Gordon,
out of control when he drives to the rim, unlike Eric Gordon.
Right. Eric Gordon, I'll be honest with you, his best days were the Clipper days where he was more like a spot-up shooter. If he would go back to that mentality, yeah, it would work. But considering the fact they just paid him a boatload of money, which me and you both said, we were both surprised they didn't trade him during the offseason. I honestly thought that was going to be part of the Rush trade, and it didn't. I was really surprised with that one.
Yeah.
And
I think we're missing a point because I did just say that Ben McLemore has replaced him. Dude, Ben McLemore.
And that's a surprise.
Yeah. Like, let's stop and give him his props because he deserves them. He was basically out of the league. Yeah, he was basically out of the league. And he's now filled Eric Gordon's shoes and filled them more admirably than Eric has been able to do. Now, he's just as bad on defense as Eric. He's soft. And he has no business trying to get to the rim. He needs to stick with 3-point shooting. But if he sticks with 3-point shooting, he's what I've been saying they need all along, that guy that can knock down threes. At least that's what he's been the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. The thing with you know what these two really are, with McLemore and I'm going to also say Daniel House, you now officially had the replacements for Eric Gordon and Gerald Green. So it really makes it now, you can't trade Gerald Green because he's out for the season. We already talked about his knee injury or whatever it was. But you found their replacement. So now what? The only other thing is, and the biggest factor is if you do trade Eric Gordon or Rivers, if you were going that far, who do you trade them for? I still think the Rockets need another big because the small ball effects were almost to the point where they're playing P.J. Tucker at the 4 or the 5 in the fourth quarter is not working. Nene's old, Tyson Chandler's old, and Capella is not reliable in the fourth quarter because he can't shoot free throws. They do. I mean, Capella's gotten better in free throws. Before his free throw percentage was worse than Ben Wallace, which back in the days Ben Wallace was atrocious on the free throw line. I mean, he made Shaq look like Rick Barry. But again, they do need a reliable big. This is the only reason why I kept saying, and we talked about this before, someone like Kevin Love. If they could get it, because you got a big that can rebound, he's not blocking shots. He's a good defender, not a great defender. His days of being top-notch, quote-unquote, defense is done, but he can still get you 11 rebounds, and he can hit threes, and he can be reliable in the fourth quarter. Only reason why I'm doing it. And I'm also thinking the Capella experience kind of dying down. You know, as they say, who they say they are. Capella's not really showing me anything else outside of being a rebounder.
I will tell you, I am not as sold on getting rid of Capella because he's rebounded. That was first, he's still soft. Second, his offense is extremely limited. But he's been protecting the rim. He's been playing much better defense, and he's been rebounding like Dennis Rodman of late. So they need that because the only other person on their team that can rebound is Russell Westbrook, and he's technically a point guard. So they need Clint Capella. You know how I feel about Kevin Love. That has not changed as of yet. I don't know when it or if it ever will. Just because he's old, he's not very athletic. He's just tall, can shoot, and that's it.
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna throw a name out there that has been on the trading block for the last couple of days that I read. If you had an opportunity to trade Gordon and Capella for Blake Griffin, would you trade it?
No.
Crazy. Why?
Because he'll be hurt the very week after you do it. This is equivalent to the Rockets going all in for Chris Paul to me. If I'm just saying, he's going to get hurt at some point. That point more than likely will be in the playoffs when you desperately need him. So, no, I wouldn't do it.
I will pull that trade in a heartbeat just because the fact of the matter is, if he can stay healthy, which we can never predict health. That's one of the things that sucks. You can't never predict it. But if he could stay healthy throughout just to the playoffs, you have a way better reliable big.
But that's the problem. If you can't start trading people for people that are unreliable. I mean that's the same.
The Rockets did.
I know.
The Rockets did for Chris Paul. So
yeah,
I'm just saying.
And why make the same mistake twice?
So that I agree with you on that one, but I would pull that trade because you have a more reliable. The only thing that I can see the Rockets maybe messing up on if they do pull it is he's going to cost a lot more. So that's the main factor because he is getting paid. I think he's one of the top 5 power forwards in the league as far as pay.
For a guy that does not play but 40 games a year. That's all I'm saying. He plays, and that's been generous. Anyway,
but again,
go ahead.
This is the same team that you have a point guard that could barely play 50 games a season and made him one of the highest paid point guards at the tail end of his career, not the peak, but the tail. I'm just saying. Luckily they got away with it with the whole Russ trade, but they had to trade how many draft picks to get rid of him? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. A lot of draft picks and a lot of money, and It's just terrible. And that's another thing. Morley in these contracts, I don't get it. And it's the NBA thing. We'll talk about that another time. Let's move on to football, please.
Let's go for it.
Out in Cleveland, our favorite wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr., is kind of being a diva again. Does he want out of Cleveland? Duh. I think he never wanted in Cleveland. Are they going to get rid of him, or are they going to let him walk? I would, because you're not winning with him.
My thing is this. I would get rid of him for the fact of the matter is two things. One, since he's still in his prime, you could probably get a high draft pick for him. Somebody be willing to give up the farm for Odell Beckham.
Really?
Two,
Hold on. In lieu of the Antonio Brown situations, the diva receiver, you think that someone's willing to do that? Because now he kind of forced his way out of New York, even though that isn't what he thought he was doing. Now he is forcing his way out of Cleveland, although he's playing like that's not what he's doing. You think that the league isn't really gonna start taking a stance on these wide receivers?
Oh, no. I don't think so. I think because long as he doesn't – see, Antonio went ballistic, and he's still going ballistic now to the point where he's doing stuff detrimental to the team by threatening. Everything Odell does has just been based off of he doesn't go on social media ranting. He had one picture where he did with the girl where it looked like he was snorting cocaine or whatever. Of course, he was exonerated. He wasn't the one doing it, and it wasn't cocaine, supposedly, whatever. But everything he does when he lashes out is either in the media or subliminally to other guys on the field. Somebody's willing to take Odell Beckham. And I was looking at it, I said, all right, what team in the league
The
needs a
Steelers.
receiver? We're not going to take him.
Well, you would.
We do.
The only reason you're not because Cleveland wouldn't trade him to you.
Exactly, and we ain't got the pick. Because Cleveland's definitely going for number one. The teams I thought would go ahead and go after Odell Beckham, one, Jacksonville. Two, up there in whatchamacallit, although it's the quarterback and not the wide receiver, Chicago. Three, he goes back to New York. Not for the Giants, though, but for the Jets. They got Sam Darnold.
He would love that, but Sam Darnold is garbage.
Yeah, I agree.
Garbage.
Think about it. They got seats to sell. The Le'Veon Bell experiment is not going well. Le'Veon doesn't even have over 600 yards rushing.
I want to talk about that a little bit because I don't know why he thought it would. His style of running demands a sense of chemistry that you don't develop that first year. It's impossible.
Correct.
So I don't know that you can say it's not working or it won't work there. Give them another season to see what happens.
They're not paying for a line.
Yeah.
One of the things you have to realize, the most expensive, people don't realize the only thing the Steelers pay money on for all the years in Pittsburgh, for every year I've known since I've been on earth, the Steelers will pay money for two main positions, the linebackers and the offensive line. Everybody else, they'll cheapskate. And, of course, the quarterback,
Well,
but
they end up paying one receiver. They just don't pay more than one.
they don't exactly. They won't pay more than one. They'll exile them out. But see, the thing is we keep getting receivers. That's one thing is, like I said, going from Thigpen to Burris to Ward to Wallace to AB and Juju when he was healthy. But anyways, I could see if Le'Veon went to a team that had a strong line, then yeah, it works. But his style of running, you need a line. If you have people blitzing all the time and putting 8 in the box and you don't have a strong quarterback and you definitely don't have a receiver for that strong quarterback, Le'Veon's not going to get anything. He's averaging his career lowest ever in his career at 3.2 yards per game.
And that coach didn't want him either.
Right, and that's why I say this thing may blow up. Either the coach is gone after this season or Le'Veon's gone after this season.
Well, that general manager should be gone because he drafted Sam Darnold, and Darnold is garbage.
Well, he's gone. He got fired week 2. He is gone.
Yeah, Darnold is awful.
And Adam Gase is now the Adam Gase, who's the head coach, is also the GM. And you seen in the interview when they were interviewing him about Le'Veon bowling, he had his head down. It's like, well, I can't find the guy. Like if your first line is I can't find the guy.
Are you really still stuck on this bowling thing?
No, I'm not. But
Okay.
I'm saying the guy. If you see the coach's expressions, the coach never wanted Le'Veon Bell. He didn't even say he doesn't believe in paying a lot of money to a running back.
First
And
off,
the
let's go
GM and the
back to
owner
this
said
coach.
that.
This coach doesn't believe in winning. He got this job coming from Miami, and the truth be told, he didn't do any winning there. He didn't do any winning in New York. At some point, somebody needs to realize that this coach is not a winner.
Well, if I was him, since now he's basically he's like the New York Bill O'Brien. If I was going to do that, the first thing I would try to do, I would sit there and try to trade to get Odell Beckham. Why not? So if the Odell and Darnold fails, it's not my fault. It's just the GM did bad things. But I would try it.
Yeah. I'm just, like I said, Adam Gase is a problem. They do need to blow up the New York Jets. Yes, I could see Odell Beckham landing there, but you need to put a quarterback there that doesn't nut up on himself on third down before you even consider any of that.
Another place. Hold up. One more place. Arizona.
Yeah, I think they would go for it, but I'm not sold on Kyler Murray being an NFL quarterback.
I'm going to give him a year. We'll find it after a year. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt right now, but I'm going to give him at least
they have no choice but give him another year because they drafted a quarterback the last draft in the first round and then this draft. So they have to, I think they're stuck with him for 5 years because I don't think you can get away with drafting quarterbacks 2 years in a row and think that you're going to keep your jobs.
Yeah, I think what they did, they thought the whole – remember that happened with Cam Newton. Remember they drafted Jimmy Clausen in Carolina as the first pick in the second round, and then they turned around, had a shitty season, and then got Cam and basically eventually traded Jimmy, who actually fell out the league, just like Josh Rosen's going to fall out the league. I was the first one to say Josh Rosen sucked. He's a privileged.
I'm like, wait, where did Rosen come from? He wasn't even in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's an entitled prick that shouldn't have had a job. I can't stand that kid. But anyway, that's another subject. He's very few people I can't stand in the NFL. He's one of them. He's not as bad as AB now, but he's up there. But as far as the Odell Beckham experiment is concerned, here's teams that's going to go ahead and do it. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to be as bad as AB, because that's just nightmares. AB's trying to get himself banned from the league right now. So
I don't know that he's trying, but that's exactly what he's doing.
Well,
and
I don't know.
He ain't going to be banned. They're going to do him exactly like they did Colin Kaepernick.
Yes, he's going to be capped. Yeah. That's the term.
All right. So we're done with Odell. We all think that he's out of Cleveland. We'll see what happens. The title of the show for today is the Dynasty of Cheating. The reason that the title of the show is the Dynasty of Cheating is because the New England Patriots, again, for now the 5th time, has been caught cheating. Justin and I agree to a certain extent that this penalty should be severe. The NFL on Wednesday or Thursday said that they are inclined to believe the Patriots' story and not inclined to heavily punish them. Here is my take. For 20 years now, this team, this organization, this head coach, this quarterback has been cheating. I don't think there's anybody in the world outside of Boston that believes that the Patriots have not been cheating for the last 20 years. I believe Bill Parcells referred to Bill Belichick as Belicheat. I'm sorry, that wasn't Bill Parcells. That was the winningest coach in NFL history, Don Shula, that said that. I don't understand how the NFL could sweep this under the rug again. This is an organization whose owner was caught in the prostitution ring this year, has been the owner of all 5 of the cheating scandals. I think it's 5. It could be 6. Was Deflategate counted in that 5?
Yeah, Deflategate, Spygate, this
Spygate
one that happened, and then the Super Bowl
Super Bowls 1 and 2.
Yeah.
That the public was not made aware of. In addition, Shannon Sharp this week said he has very high-level sources inside the NFL, and I'm a fan of Shannon Sharp. He's an NFL guy, so I'm inclined to believe him. That said, the commissioner, after Spygate 1, made them throw the evidence away is how damning those tapes were.
Now, here's the question. Was it the Spygate one, meaning the Super Bowl ones? Because that would have been Paul Tagliabue.
The Spygate that we actually had tapes for.
Okay,
when Mangini told on them.
Okay, that's Goodell. So, yeah, okay, that's the Goodell year. So I was just trying to make sure of that. I will say this also. People fail to realize one huge thing. When Tagliabue, the former NFL commissioner, was retiring and Goodell was taking for him, this wasn't a move like the NBA did with Adam Silver, who was the deputy commissioner when David Stern, also best wishes to David Stern. They said he had a brain aneurysm. You know, best wishes to him because he was one of the ones that changed the NBA.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Definitely prayers up to Commissioner Stern or former NBA Commissioner Stern. I had fallen out of basketball after Jordan, of course, because, well, I'm from Kansas City and there's no other basketball. So
when
Mike left,
Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, that was before my time. So David Stern saved basketball, if you ask me. So I think a quick little line under scores that he went to the hospital was not enough. The league did not do enough to show their appreciation for what he did for them while he's still living, even though he's in the hospital.
Right.
Anyway.
Granted, I'll give you that. But with that being said, when they brought in Roger Goodell, there was two people that I read this article that said that were adamant about they love this guy. Roger Goodell was a corporate lawyer, and he was a union lawyer as well, so that's why they thought it was a good move. One of those people was Robert Kraft. The other one is Jerry Jones. Okay, two of the more notorious owners in the NFL. So with that being said, this is why the Patriots have never gotten a stiff penalty. Yeah, Tom got suspended for Deflategate for 4 games or whatever. It was 6. It was 8, then it went to 6. I think it was 4. No one ever got in trouble for the whole Aaron Hernandez situation. Like, the league knew the dude was wrong. No one got in trouble for that one.
Yeah.
And I'll be 100% honest with you. I don't think Gronk is retired. I think something's wrong with Gronk, or he's on something, and they said take a year off. If Gronk comes back next year,
on something.
Because if you look at him now, he's built like a receiver before he was built like the Incredible Hulk. But to go back to it, I just don't see that. I see the NFL penalizing them, but here's a couple factors. The Patriots don't give a damn about a first-round pick because they're notorious for trading out picks. They're notorious for trading out the first round. They're always in the playoffs, so they're always a low round. So that's not going to affect their franchise. You fine them. Okay, you're fining them billionaire millions of dollars. Woohoo. All right, you're going to fine him, $2 million, and he's a billionaire? That's a drop in the bucket. That's like me and you spending 50 cents at a candy store. Oh, it's not really going to affect anything. What they should do, in my opinion, I think we are on the same wavelength, they actually should be in the playoffs for the next 2 years. Do it NCAA.
They need an NCAA fine. Now I think you're joining on my wagon a little bit because I think you just wanted them. What was it? What was your initial thought? Because it wasn't
the initial thought. The initial thought, I just thought, okay, you find them heavy draft picks and kick them out of free agency, so they can't do that.
No,
but again,
you can't
with
do this to this team again because that's done nothing. Like they've had those fines, they've had the draft pick, all that. It's done nothing. You got to do a postseason ban for the next 2 years. Now, I believe Shannon Sharp said that Belichick's got to be suspended for a year, like they did Sean Payton with Bountygate.
Well, Bountygate, correct. And I agree with that one.
No, totally. I think they need a postseason ban, NCAA punishment, because this is not like the NCAA where they're just giving athletes a couple of dollars to make it to their next meal. They are blatantly cheating the league rules. They are blatantly cheating their opponents. They are blatantly cheating the game and the integrity of what's associated with the game, and they don't give a damn. They know Commissioner Goodell is in their pocket, so I think he's got a sex tape out there that Robert Kraft might own, because something's got to be a reason why the Patriots continuously get away with murder.
The other factor is I just think at this point of this time, it's 5 times. 1 or 2, okay. 5 times. This is what makes me taint their legacy. The Patriots are currently tied with the Steelers with the most Super Bowl championships. But again, at least we earned ours. We didn't have any situations that, is suspect. It seems like every time the Patriots turn around, it's another situation. They got away with the tuck rule. Let's not forget about that one. They got away with that bullshit. Oakland fans to this day, I still ride with you.
I will not ride with Oakland. That's the only Super Bowl that I find legitimate is when they knocked the Oakland Raiders out of the AFC Championship game.
Okay. This is a guy from just talking on the AFC West. If we're talking legitimately,
that's right.
Okay. Let's talk. If he's not a Kansas City Chiefs fan, he would be agreeing with me right now. I'm just saying the legitimacy of that.
I don't know about
that. Again, you can't have a squeaky clean team and a dirty team. What's this mean for the NFL? That clouds your shield more than Kaepernick's situation, more than anything AB can say, do, or otherwise. This is clouding your shield because there's all these allegations against you. You're the top dog. I seen one guy say, "Well, when you're on top, everything comes against you."
So
when you're on top,
answer this for me. I'm an NFL player. I can smoke a blunt and be suspended for 2 to 4 games.
Correct.
I'm an NFL organization, and I can cheat the integrity of the game, cheat my opponents, basically create a dynasty out of whatever organizational cheating you've done, and I lose a draft pick and some money? When are we going to start holding the teams as accountable as we hold the players? Because to me, more of a representative of the shield is Robert Kraft, not Antonio Brown. They can literally ban Antonio Brown from the league like they've kind of done without doing, and at some point when he stops tweeting, that goes away. Robert Kraft and his prostitution sting is still there. I'm still talking about it, and it's December 15th, and it happened in the offseason. This cheating has been going on for 20 years. So, yeah, you can banish a player because no one player is bigger than the league. When are we going to understand that no one organization is bigger than the league either? Because right now, I have no faith in the National Football League and the integrity of its games because they continuously allow the New England Patriots to do whatever the hell they want.
I agree, but here's the thing also. Like I gave you the scenario where you went there with far as the smoking of weed. I went there with if a guy sits there and gets a league-appointed trainer and takes a banned substance that he did not know about, he's still suspended.
Yes,
there's not even a point of having a trial or, hey, look, this is your guy. This is what the team appointed me. I'm taking the shit they told me to take. And he didn't know there was a banned substance in it, so you damn sure know I don't know it was a banned substance, but I'm getting suspended 4 games, so that's a check. That's 4 checks gone. And I got to pay a fine. But yet and still, a team doesn't have to have that. A team doesn't get that penalty.
No,
and there's only
get
one
away
team.
With whatever the hell they want. They get a $250,000, $500,000 fine for a billionaire. That's less than 0.5%.
Now, I do have to say this. This is going to be biased, but remember a couple of years ago when Mike Tomlin supposedly was going to trip Jacoby Jones when we were losing to Baltimore in Baltimore on Thanksgiving. I think this was probably about 6 years ago. They fined Tomlin $500,000. And that's because Tomlin was mad and stuck his foot out. A coach. He stuck his foot out, but he knew he didn't stick his foot out where it was going to be the point where Jacoby was going to trip. I mean, it still was like a 3 feet difference between where his foot was and and Tomlin got fined $500,000, and the Steelers got fined another $500,000, so a total of $1 million. But the Patriots only got fined $250,000. Only got $2 million for the last gate situation. I think for a deflate gate.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was crazy. Like, really?
And my thing about that is, at least Tomlin was only affecting one play of the game. Them recording the sidelines. And let's go back. Can I say this? Can they get caught recording a team that's actually good? Because, come on now. Why the hell are you recording the Bungles?
Especially they hadn't won a game at that point yet.
Jesus.
They were still 0-8 at that point or whatever.
Like, this should tell the league that, dude, if they're willing to record the Bungles, all these teams are in trouble. Every team that they play, all 32 teams, the Bungles. No, they cannot be the Bengals again until they earn the bang in their name. They are the Bungles.
Well, that's not going to come no time soon.
Well,
good luck. But that's not. But again, you're right. Then the way they did it, I know we're probably stretching time on this one, but you get a guy from Boston that comes down in a Boston Bruins hockey jersey. Mind you, Bruins are hockey, to record, and he's a youngster, and you tell him to record this sideline, and what is his excuse? I didn't know. I was just told just to record stuff on the sideline. I didn't know it was illegal to record the other team. Now, yeah, he's 21, 22, whatever. He's young, but he's not stupid. I'm not stupid. I can get
he's 21, 22, and he works for the New England Patriots. He knows that they've been in trouble for doing this before.
Correct. So I was like, yeah, okay, guys, really? Come on. And then, of course, in typical Belichick fashion, oh, well, I had no clue. I didn't know what was going on. Yeah, Bill, you know everything that goes on in a locker. If you're a head coach, you know everything.
Didn't
start
they tell
to finish.
Sean Payton
everybody,
that you're the head coach?
Exactly.
You should know everything.
And that's one of the people I'm at. Hey, if anybody should have an issue with this, Sean Payton should be like, oh, time out. If he doesn't get something, then what the hell did y'all do that to me for a couple years back?
Yeah.
That was draft picks, cash, and a fine for the coach. Come on, man.
So can we honestly say this now? Because I was, up until now, I've been willing to accept people calling Tom Brady the GOAT, Belichick the greatest coach of all time. I'm guilty of it because I get caught up in the fact that basically my entire adult life, this team has been dominating the National Football League. But because of this stain on their legacy, with all the cheating scandals, at some point I think we need to put an asterisk on these things.
Yeah. This is like USC when supposedly they cheated with Reggie Bush. They got an asterisk on his Heisman. They got an asterisk on his championship.
Made him give the Heisman back.
Right, exactly. And they're not going to give the.
Oh no, the Patriots are never going to be forced to give back those Super Bowl trophies. They're not going to be forced to vacate those wins. But those teams that said that they were being recorded in their Saturday walkthroughs before the Super Bowl, they feel the same way I do. They probably don't lose these games without that cheating that Belichick and company did.
Yeah, I agree. Which makes the Steelers the greatest team of all time. But that's another
anyway,
note.
Moving on. The Houston Texans, they lost last week? Wait, did y'all win or lose? Who'd y'all play?
Yeah, lost to Denver.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. The Houston Texans were my egg of the week, I guess, because I kind of knew they were going to lay this egg, and I kind of told you on the podcast last week, expect them to have a letdown.
They screwed my elimination one. I got all the way up to that week.
But
I've been picking the right season. And I picked them damn Texans to beat the Broncos, the lowly Broncos. And if I would have made it all the way through the elimination, that would have been $50 playing on Yahoo. That's no money to them making $50.
So you didn't listen to your co-host then. You decided that you were going to ride with these people anyway, even though I told you, expect a letdown.
There was no safe picks. This was supposed to be a safe pick.
I told you it wasn't. I told you it wasn't. Wait. Let's go back. You had the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns against the Patriots, and you felt that the Texans was more of a safe pick against the Broncos.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Justin.
It's the Broncos. The running back was hurt. Von Miller came in at the last second and played because Von Miller definitely wasn't playing. Von Miller must have had family down here to watch this game because, Von Miller's from Dallas area. He must have had people to come down because Von Miller was out the whole time until literally 20 minutes before the game, then they activated him. I was shocked. I was like, okay, Vaughn's playing. That's not good. That's not good for this elimination thing. But, okay, rookie quarterback. The Texans is on the high beating the Patriots.
None of that
It's
meant
Pittsburgh.
anything.
Their range ain't good since Peyton left.
If you watch their post game after the Patriots game, you saw what I saw. And I guess you just kind of regulated it because that's how Houstonians act. But they acted like they won the Super Bowl.
And I agree.
And what scares me is that the Chiefs play the Broncos this week. And on Facebook, a couple people were saying, it feels like we won the Super Bowl. No, you won a regular season football game. You put your head down, you go back to work, and win again next week. That's what you do in the regular season. I'm glad the players said they have bigger goals. I think they saw what happened to the Texans and understood that this is just a win, and the Patriots are not a good football team this year.
But here's the question. What was the bigger letdown for the Texans? Was it the offense or the defense?
Offense.
I'm sorry.
They came out flatter than flat.
They came out flat, but that defense was exposed.
Well, the defense had no clue that Drew Lock was about to carve them up. Romeo Crennel, his days are outnumbered, and every time he seems to face a young quarterback, he gets in a lot of trouble really quick.
But the thing is I can see it when you said the young quarterback, but usually it's a young mobile quarterback. This quarterback's not mobile either. I mean, he sat there in the pocket.
Enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's mobile
enough.
Maybe mobile like
enough.
Jared Goff mobile. But
he's a little more athletic than that.
Mitchell Trubisky. But he picked him. They picked him clear. I mean, he kind of reminds me of him, though. But he's
already won more games than Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, damn, that's messed up. But I'm just surprised. Side note, I think Mitchell Trubisky kept his job over the last 2 weeks. So all the Cam talk is over with as far as the Chicago's concerned.
And if Mitchell Trubisky keeps his job, Nagy's going to lose his following next season. Because Mitch ain't fixed. Mitch is bad. What? I'm going to take that back. Because I agree with you to an extent on a certain level with this 1-year starter in college. And this is only his second year. This is second year as a starter, right?
Yeah, it's the second year as a starter.
Second full
because Mike Glennon, because Mike Glennon started the season.
It's his second full year as a starter, and Ryan Tannehill is making me look kind of bad because he's playing lights out. So I'm not going to roll his job. What was that?
He's not going anywhere in Tennessee. I'm just telling y'all right now. Tennessee fans need to be comfortable. Ryan Tannehill's there to stay.
Oh, and he's playing like he deserves to be there to stay. He's not costing them games, unlike Mariota.
Yeah. But, again, this is going to be interesting with the Texans because they let a huge, astronomical drop happen with that loss. I am – flabbergasted ain't even a word. I was just shocked. I was like, damn, really?
They're going to lose the division to the Titans now.
I can see that.
They are playing the Titans this week, not next week, but the following week. So 2 of their next 3 games are against the Titans, and the Titans have found their identity. They found their quarterback, and they are a dangerous team unless you come out explosive. If you let them hang around, if you let Derrick Henry run the ball, you will lose.
That's a factor. If you let Derrick Henry run the ball and eat clock, you will never win. And Texans are not a team yet that could go ahead and come back off of a lead like that. Because if you milk the clock and give Deshaun not enough time to go ahead and do what he do, it's either going to be field goals or praying for miracles. Side note, Will Fuller's back on the injury list. So
we said that last week.
He's not cleared again. Yeah. Keep telling y'all, boys, 1 game.
I'm telling you, I wouldn't let him play again until the playoffs. And then, at least the last game against the Titans. Don't let him play this week. Don't let him play next week. Have him play week 17 and try to make it in the playoffs. Try to win your division. That's how I feel. Because obviously this division, unless the Texans win tomorrow, this division is going to come down to week 17. It might be the only one that comes down to week 17, but it will come down to week 17.
Actually, it is because y'all clinched, Baltimore clinched, Patriots clinched. Yeah, it is. It's y'all. It's only this division. Everybody else is.
You got the NFC.
Everybody
too.
else. Yeah. I'm talking about as far as the AFC is concerned. Yeah, this is the only one that is a shootout for the league.
So can the Texans offense rebound?
Who are they
Without
playing
Will
again?
Fuller?
Who do they have again?
They got the Titans.
No, I thought the Titans was next weekend. They don't have the Titans tomorrow, do they?
Is this not what week are we? What? Yeah, they got the Titans. It's only 3 games left. They're 2 out of the next 3 is the Titans.
Dude, nope. I'm going with them Titans is going to play, boy. They're going to play. This is the thing. This is 2 factors.
You skipped 2 parts. Is the offense going to rebound?
No, they'll rebound.
No
the
rebound.
Offense will rebound. The offense can rebound because Kenny Stills is back. We keep forgetting about the other light-skinned brother. He's back.
He's been back for a while. He's just not a part of this.
Yeah,
offense.
but they've kind of made him like he actually for a minute was 4th receiver because it was D-Hop, Fuller. Then they love putting Coty in, which I still don't understand, and then Kenny Stills. Now they finally moving Kenny Stills back to where he needs to be. I'm going to sit there and say the offense can rebound. The defense is my question. Because if DJ Reader's out again, because they said they have not cleared him and he had not played a practice, and you got a Derrick Henry that all of a sudden, just like last year, comes in the second half of the season, start running that ball like crazy, y'all going to have some issues. Because, it's not going to look in their favor if Derrick Henry's running the ball, 30 times in a game and they're not getting enough time to get on the field.
So
like it or not, they have.
Here's my thing: if Bob gets out of the way and he allows his quarterback, Bob is Bill O'Brien to those that are new to the show, if he gets out of the way and allows his quarterback to run an offense that's capable of running away from the Titans, then they win. And I'm hoping that Bob gets out of the way because he understands the importance of this game because Deshaun is my quarterback in DraftKings. So, yeah.
Good luck.
I'm not sold on the Titans defense, so I am gonna say that Deshaun Watson and the offense will rebound this week. I'm expecting at least 3 touchdown passes from Deshaun, and I'm expecting them to score at least 30 points. I don't think the Titans can score 30 points against the Texans.
I beg to differ. I don't think they will, but I think they have the capabilities too. Because Ryan Tannehill's opening.
Tannehill, don't you?
No, I have a lot of faith in Derrick Henry. I've had him. This was the first year in the last 3 years I didn't have him.
He cost me money last week on DraftKings. He cost me $18 because they pulled him after the game was in hand.
They always do that. Welcome to DraftKings. I should have warned you about that one, buddy.
Literally, I lost by 0.2 points. I just needed to get another damn yard. Anyway, the defense was shredded by the rookie Drew Lock last week. This week they have Ryan Tannehill. I'm still not sold on Tannehill, but I am sold on the Titans' run game. What I've seen from their run game is what changed my mind about the Chiefs' defense because you know how I was really down, and then I've watched these teams that we got shredded by on the ground, and those are great running football teams. I think the Titans are a great running football team. Is DJ Reader hurt?
Yeah, he hadn't played all week. He may play tomorrow, but he hadn't practiced all week.
Now, that's a huge factor in whether this defense can slow down the Titans because he is their run stuffer. And if he's hurt, then Derrick Henry runs, and I think I got him in DraftKings too. If Derrick Henry will run for like 150 yards if DJ Reader is hurt.
Yes, sir. That's what I was saying. So I still think the Texans can pull it out. I'm with you with the Tannehill situation. I mean, he's playing awesome, but he's also playing for his job right now. He's playing
Tannehill.
Right. So he may just be – this may be like how some cats have contract years. This may be Ryan Tannehill's show-out year so he can either get a contract – because he's only on a 1-year deal, or he can get a contract for a longer term, or B, he could show that he is now there's no quarterback controversy in Tennessee. He's their quarterback, and y'all better deal with it. I'm still going to probably say the Texans in this one, but not by a lot.
3?
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking,
I'll
too.
go.
I think they'll pull it out. Now,
24-21, I'll go with that one.
I think 31-17. I still don't believe the Titans can score enough. I'll change it. 31-24. I'll give them 24 points. That's 3 touchdowns and a field goal. I think they can do that. Moving to Kansas City, the Denver Broncos, the very same Denver Broncos who destroyed Deshaun Watson and the Texans, are coming to Arrowhead Stadium. Oh, yeah, they destroyed the Texans in NRG. The Chiefs' offense has been down for several weeks now, and I really love Patrick Mahomes' response to it. He understands that his play has been down. He's been working to correct the issues that he says has plagued him since he was in high school, the fading back too far to throw his passes. He thinks sometimes when he's out there playing football, he's playing Madden-style football, where you just keep backpedaling until somebody comes open, and he's got a good enough arm sometimes. But when you go so far back, you allow the coverage to catch up with your arm, and I think that's what happened in the last few weeks. I expect them to get back to business. I don't expect them to put up like 40 points because I still believe in the Denver Broncos defense. But I see them score. I see Patrick Mahomes figuring some things out and getting ready for the playoffs. I also asked myself, was part of the offensive slowdown Andy Reid finally figuring out how to play complementary football?
Well, it could be Andy Reid doing complimentary football or slowing y'all guys down. Y'all have nothing to lose now. Y'all not in a position. Y'all have nothing to really worry about. Y'all not in a position to get home field advantage. That's out. Y'all won y'all division, so right now y'all just making sure y'all stay in third place. I think Andy's personality is to take the foot off the throttle sometimes. So maybe just a little bit he's going to play a little bit more conservative with Pat and all them. I honestly see probably either next week or the week after, y'all going to start Matt Moore and probably have Mahomes sit.
Well, that won't
this
happen
may
yet,
be the
because
start
we're still kind of playing for a bye. I think the Buffalo Bills will beat the Patriots. I still don't think the New England Patriots is a good football team, and I think that the Buffalo Bills will beat them. I think that's the only shot we have in attaining that number 2 spot is if the Buffalo Bills beat the New England Patriots, because the Bungles aren't. Even though they were the team that was cheated with this Spygate 4. Anyway, I don't think the Bungles have heart. I believe that the only team that has a shot to knock off New England in these next 3 weeks is the Buffalo Bills. And Buffalo has something to prove. They still have not beat a team with a winning record. And I think they know that as much as I know that, and I know the rest of the league knows that. So I expect Buffalo to do what they need to do against New England, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to take their foot off the gas because of Patrick Mahomes' injury earlier in the season and losing games like the Tennessee game that they had absolutely no business losing. They have to play out. I think they can only afford to take the bye week off if they get the bye. So I expect the Chiefs to come out and try to score 30 points in the first quarter to diminish the hopes of the Denver Broncos. I don't think they'll do it, but I think they're going to try. I'm hoping part of this has been Andy Reid learning how to play complementary football because he's been a lot more committed to trying to run the ball lately. His defense has answered by playing a lot better. They're like the 7th best secondary in football. Can you believe that?
Which is very surprising.
Yeah. But remember me telling you earlier in the season, I like what I saw from those guys, and now the numbers are making me seem like I know what the hell I'm talking about.
At times. I said at times, but no. No, I agree with you with that one. Here's the question, though, we talked about earlier. With Janoris Jenkins out there now, since they cut him for whatever the run was.
T-Sizzle and Jenkins.
I was just about to say,
Both
you think I think because Kansas City's the only team that hadn't made a move. That's the playoff team that didn't try to make a move that would be that they could. Everybody knows their weak points, which is definitely the secondary. I mean, although up until recently, and definitely help out on that defensive line because you hate Frank Clark and Chris Jones.
He got sick and started playing better.
Oh shit!
He lost 12 pounds in the last couple of days. I mean, in the last week. Because of some virus he's got. They actually sent him home to a gastro, whatever that thing is called, that doctor, because he lost so much weight so quickly. And I think he needs to keep the weight off because he's a lot quicker on the field, and he's playing a hell of a lot better.
Maybe, but that's what I was saying. Y'all should go after one of these guys, if not both. Because I mean, you realize since they're on waivers, you're only paying their salary for the rest of the season.
Oh, if they go after one or two, I want Jenkins first.
Right, that's an obvious.
I mean, I want Jenkins first. T. Sizzle at this stage of his career, he could. He does
have 6 sacks for the season. He has 6 sacks and 4 forced fumbles.
Yeah, he could contribute on third downs, but. Jenkins can play downs 1 through 3. So I guess we kind of transitioned to the defense, and ever since that, but the topic of this one and the highlight of this one is ever since they got that game-sealing interception on Phillip Rivers, this defense has been playing better and better and better. If their offense can kick it back into gear, I honestly think it's the Chiefs and Ravens in the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs kind of know the formula as we did win and beat Lamar Jackson earlier in the year.
That was way early in the season. I wouldn't say that now.
That running of Lamar Jackson is a huge – like, I can draw up a scheme to stopping, but then you got to get these players to incorporate that discipline. Like, I think, to me, it's easy on paper to stop this kid. You attack the middle of the field, and you hold your discipline. But like I saw in literally the very first drive of the game on Thursday, your defensive end does not have a half a step. If your defensive end takes a half a step in the wrong direction, Lamar Jackson's 3 or 4 steps past him. So you can't go at this quarterback that same way. You can't even keep contained by going straight off the line. You have to your ends literally need to go towards the sideline nearest them as they rush the passer to keep this guy contained.
I will say this though. If anybody else outside of Tomlin gets Coach of the Year, I would get John Harbaugh for one specific reason. He knew what he got with his quarterback when Ozzie drafted him last year, and they sat back Remember, last year when they put Lamar Jackson in and he struggled, Baltimore fans were booing him, talking about bring Flacco back. Baltimore fans weren't sold on Lamar at the beginning of this season. And look what happened. He's playing to the best of his ability. They have adapted to him. That's why I keep saying they felt all 3 tight ends have over at least 500 yards and at least 3 or 4 touchdowns this season. They only have 1 wide receiver. They're playing their best to their strong points. Unlike, of course, Bill O'Brien, who's not doing with Deshaun Watson still, in my opinion.
So
I mean, you got to work to whatever your kid's advantage is. It's like you bringing back old I formation with Patrick Mahomes. That's not his game. His game is spread, which it works better to his advantage because he has a quick release and he's highly intelligent with throwing in the ball versus run, and then force it in Patrick Mahomes' hand. No, let him have the ball and let him work his magic. Well, it works out to his advantage.
I don't want to call you out, but I said that at the beginning of the year.
About Patrick or about Lamar?
Jackson, about Harbaugh, and how they run this offense perfectly for him.
Yeah, I said that, but I'm saying now Coach of the Year for that.
Well, I mean, he was Coach of the Year for that then, if you ask me. I mean, and I still don't think he's Coach of the Year. As much as I dislike the Steelers, I believe the job that Mike Tomlin has done.
Yes, sir.
You absolutely. If anybody else gets a damn vote, they're wrong. Because in the exact same situation, actually what the Panthers fired their coach that went to a Super Bowl. When they lost their quarterback, they kind of went downhill. When Tomlin lost his quarterback, he did exactly what you and I said he should do at the beginning of the year. Utilize this opportunity to show everybody just how good of a coach he is. He's done that. And from week 2 and 3 when your guys, your city, and I won't even say week 2 or 3, all the way up to week 8 to 10, your city wanted to fire this guy. Now they realize they absolutely are stuck with him. And that is really weird to me that you consider yourself stuck with a Super Bowl winning, finding a way to win with a third-string, 6th-round draft pick quarterback with his running back, number 1 receiver, been hurt all year basically. Literally is the 6th seed in the playoffs. So it took up until week 15 for people to stop saying, well, Tomlin is holding the team back. Even when they were winning games 13-10, Tomlin's holding the offense back. Well, you think that maybe he knew that his quarterback sucked and he's playing to the strength of his team?
This is Tom's been in the league for, this is, I think, 13 years now. He's still, now with this past win against Arizona, he's 8-5. That means, again, Pittsburgh fans who don't like Tomlin,
under 500.
Correct. And if we win with these next 3 games versus Buffalo, the Jets, and end off with the Ravens, which I don't think they'll have Lamar playing against us in Week 17. I think that's a done deal if they lock home field advantage.
Earlier on Skype,
I really think this is amazing. Where the 3 Bs, we had the 3 Bs, well, 2 of the 3 Bs last year, and we went 9-7. We had no Bs, no M's. We had. Again, I keep stating, and I know we're on your segment, so I'll make it brief before we jump into ours. We have 5 guys on our on our skill position that were on the street that technically would not be on a NFL roster right now. That's what I'm saying. You got to have them. You're making something out of nothing. There's no Tom. There's no Pat. There's no Lamar. There's Duck. A dude named Duck. I'm just saying.
Is not Duck. We call him Duck.
He likes Duck. He has a picture on the Steelers IG of him posting. Looks like he looks like it's him in the Steelers jersey with the dog from Duck Hunt. And if you are our age, you know what that dog from Duck Hunt is. And he's smiling. It's a cartoon picture, and he was the first one that loves the picture. He likes it. I'm Duck Hodges. I mean, he got a little swag to him with Duck, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him. Hey, if you want my honest opinion, let the kid start rest of the season, and next year it's his. If y'all, even if they draft a quarterback, I'm being bold with this one. Even if they draft a quarterback, it's his to lose.
Your quarterback wants to come back this season.
Our quarterback, not Mason.
Nah, your quarterback.
Oh yeah, no. He still has no.
I think you're going to lose all credibility in Pittsburgh behind this. Are you serious?
No. See, here's the thing. The real Steelers fans know better. When they see him looking like RoboCop with that damn arm thing with his molecular cast or whatever, we know he done. That's Tommy John surgery. If anybody in Pittsburgh knows about Tommy John surgery, or anybody knows is the city of Pittsburgh, where how many Pirates had Tommy John surgery over the years. So when we see that cast and that mobile robo, whatever the hell you want to call it, we know it's Tommy John. We know it's done. Oh, hey, it's time. You know, I know the Giants are trying to bring Eli back to have his final.
Eli
I don't
played
think
good in the first half.
Yeah, it was the first half. Look what happened in the second half.
Listen, it's Eli. We got to give him where it's supposed to. Hey, you just skipped past the Chiefs and Broncos preview. Who you got?
Go for it. I'm going with the Chiefs on this one. I don't think the Broncos can do 2 weeks in a row of upsetting teams. Well, you know what I mean? That's far-fetched.
I just like what's been coming out of Arrowhead Stadium and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and hell, even on game day in New England, rookie Mecole Hardman. And that's what I posted on Facebook last week. Even after the game, we got bigger goals. It's just one game. We got work to do. That's why I don't expect a letdown like the Texans did last week. I also think the Chiefs are a better team than the Texans, even though the Chiefs lost to the Texans this year. I've always thought that. And my quarterback is
who's that starting running back?
Huh?
Who's starting at running back this time?
Damian Williams is back. Shady is
Okay.
shady, and I'm still a big fan of Spencer Ware. I like the running back situation. It's just up to Andy if he actually utilizes them. All those guys can catch the ball. The one that I'm concerned about is the one I've been concerned about, Shady, fumbleitis.
Mm.
I think he's the one that should be out of the rotation, but Andy Reid's loyalty continues to make that not happen. I'm glad it was a 1-year deal. Glad he'll be gone at the end of the season. But
We'll see. He may come back. That really depends. I don't think y'all gonna make that decision until the draft comes.
I hope Brett
If y'all
Veach
don't draft a running back,
understands.
he'll be back.
I hope Brett Veach understands that he's got more fumbles than Mahomes got interceptions, fumbles lost than Mahomes got interceptions, and understands that he has to make this call and not leave it in the hands of Andy Reid. I do also have the Chiefs. I do not expect them to fall flat. I do expect Patrick Mahomes to play a little better, but as I've said before, he's a better road quarterback to me, and he's in Arrowhead this week. So I'm going to go 27-21 Chiefs.
30. I'm going 30 for 17. Sorry.
Wow.
Blowout.
All right. We've kind of already started, but we'll go back to Pittsburgh again. Connor is not back.
Connor is back.
I thought he was
Connor's back. No, Connor's back. Connor's up to probable. Juju's out.
Okay. So Connor's been elevated from questionable yesterday to probable today, and Juju's back on the bench, nursing whatever's going on with him.
The knee injury, which I'm really thinking that knee is worse than what it is, which scares me.
Have the Bills, right?
Yeah, the same decision. We had the Bills on Sunday Night Football. We went elevated from the 1 o'clock game to now the primetime game.
I think this score is going to be 7-6. Listen, you know how I feel about the Bills' lack of being able to beat a team that wins. I think Mike Tomlin has a good recipe. Their offense, I don't think you have here. Can they put up bigger numbers? I don't believe so. I mean, last week I said you'd only score 17 and you scored 21. So I'm in that neighborhood. Buffalo's a good defense and a garbage offense, a lot like the Patriots.
You know, the only person that scares me on Buffalo is probably a person that people won't think is John Brown, the wide receiver.
I mean, he's a solid receiver. His quarterback is not very good.
The reason why I'm saying that is the last 3 games he played in Baltimore, he's torched us for 120-plus yards. Only reason why I'm saying. In fact, the game we got blown out by Baltimore last year, John Brown went apeshit. And that's the only person I worry about. I don't worry about. I mean, Devin Singletary's having a solid season, but our defense is better than that. Yeah. Josh Allen, okay, he's having a good season, but I'm not sold on the kid.
My biggest they keep comparing him to Ben Roethlisberger. Side is Connor, like he's back, but is he really? And furthermore, why?
They're going to use a four-headed offense, a four-headed running back situation. So Connor, Samuel, Snell, and the kid Edmonds, which his brother plays for the Steelers, and he'll be facing his older brother.
I do want to know why. Listen, why is Connor such this big? We want to keep giving him opportunities. I like Snell. I like Snell. I like handing him the ball and saying go win a football game. Why do y'all keep going back to James Conner?
Tomlin has this thing. Tomlin's like, this is one of Tomlin's few flaws. Tomlin is a player's coach. And if that player works hard and does everything he does in the locker room and practice and so on and so forth, Connor's sort of like the Rudy story. That's the best way to call it. So Connor, until we really officially say, hey, this is done, Tomlin's always going to try to keep putting in. Plus, he's the local kid, the feel-good story, yada, yada, yada. I mean, he's still in top 10 in NFL jersey sales, yet he has not – I don't think he's eclipsed 500 yards this season. He did almost have 1,000 last year. But, again, like you said, he's always hurt, and it's both of his knees. You know what I mean? It's bad, but that's why. But I think if we're realistically speaking, this is Snell's position now. This is Snell as the running back. And I'd honestly say next year, I wouldn't be shocked if they try to trade Connor. I wouldn't.
I'd be shocked if anyone took him.
Yeah, someone will take him.
Who?
Someone always will take him. Somebody will take him.
You hopeful over there.
Somebody. Hey, I'm looking at teams with running backs. First one comes to mind, a team that needs a running back and probably a quarterback, Tampa. I'm just saying. But it's also going to be.
We've talked about Tampa a lot, and I still don't. I like Jameis because he's a baseball player. But this guy, and these interceptions.
Mariota was a baseball player, too.
Who?
Mariota was a baseball player, too. That don't mean shit. Not to me.
Oh, he's much better than Mariota.
Yeah, I agree. But Jameis may need to switch books. Anyways, I just don't see the guy. Yeah, he's putting up numbers. Yeah, he has 2 receivers in the top 5 in the NFL. But again, you also live. This is your 3rd. You've only been in the league 5 years. 3 of the years you've led the league, you've been in the top 3 in interceptions.
You know what I'm gonna do with this? If you keep doing that, I'm gonna go back to Los Angeles. And the difference is, I just think Jameis Winston still has a better upside. Yes, he makes dumbass decisions with his arm because he thinks his arm is stronger than it is. That's what quarterbacks that play baseball do. Patrick Mahomes got in trouble with that last week and threw an interception. He is literally the epitome of fair weather quarterback. 1 minute, he's the best. You've just seen the best throw that you'll probably ever see again. And the next minute, he does not see a linebacker standing right in front of him and throws him the ball.
Correct. How many games did Jameis have? Let's just use this year alone. He's had 5 games. He's had 2 games. He's had 4 touchdowns or more. But also include that he's had 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions on both sides. He's had a game where he's had 1 and 1. I just don't see him sticking around and dealing with that. I mean, my homeboy said, hey, the Steelers would be good to pick him up. I said, hell no. If the Steelers pick him up, we're going to have a talk. I might have to go to Pittsburgh myself and talk to
I don't know what to make of Jameis, but let's get back to Pittsburgh. Your defense has been phenomenal. They've got a Buffalo Bill. They've got a Buffalo.
Lead the league in sacks.
Go ahead. Say your stats.
Lead the league in sacks. Let's say it again. Lead the league in sacks. I was like, we smashing you, boy. Your quarterback come, we hitting you upside your head. We don't give a damn.
Wow.
And we got the secondary. I could be proud of my defense. Our defense.
Folks, let me tell you something. I go up and down about my Chiefs all the time, but I am not a homer like this guy's a homer, okay?
Oh, hell no. We're not going there with that.
Yes, we are.
People on the podcast, how many times has KC sat there and compared somebody to Patrick Mahomes? We are not going there. We got film for this one.
I mean, but seriously, Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the National Football League. If you're trying to start a football team, I don't care about what you guys doing running the ball. If you're trying to start a football team and you're starting from the quarterback position, I don't know anybody other than you that's going to pick any other quarterback but Patrick Mahomes to start that team with.
Lamar Jackson. That's all
I said. Other than you, because everybody else actually understands who the better quarterback is.
Hey, it depends on my system. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, then that means you're depending on who the coach is. My quarterback can play for any coach.
I'm not picking no random ass coach.
My quarterback can play for any coach. Lamar Jackson cannot. You have to cater a system completely to what his skill set is. I still say you make him throw the ball outside the hashes. If you can find defensive linemen, defensive ends that kept contained by running outside then in, you really make trouble for this guy. And nobody, you can't train that in 1 week. It's going to be very interesting to see the playoff matchup because I don't know that in 1 week you can train a defense of what they need to learn to slow down Lamar Jackson in 1 week. I think that's almost impossible.
True. Touché. But let's say this. I'm going to go back to the Steelers and the home thing. Look at the team we have. Look at that team. Y'all have a team, again, I'll stress this. You have a team, your offense has 3 Pro Bowlers, minimum. You definitely got and a former Pro Bowler that has lost in 4. Okay, so 4 Pro Bowlers.
You gotta give Mitchell Schwartz his credit. You got Mahomes, Schwartz, Hill.
My bad, I ain't forget the lineman. Yeah, so 4. We have just 3 Pro Bowlers, and they're all on the offensive line. The whole line. Juju's been hurt. Can't count him.
You give Patrick Mahomes an offensive line with 3 Pro Bowlers? Listen, he can make Juju, he can make James Washington, or whoever else you got catching the ball look like.
But I'm saying what we got now. We don't have a Patrick Mahomes. There's no Patrick Mahomes coming out in this draft that we can get. We're taking what we got. My man Duck Dodges. You know what I mean? And side note, he's from Homewood, Alabama, which is my neighborhood where I grew up. They've been calling him Homewood Dodges all week long, which is hilarious because if Duck actually would go to my neighborhood, he would probably be scared shitless. But that's just a side note. But they've been calling him Homewood Dodges. I see that. I was like, hold up, guys. He's not coming to the neighborhood. You see this white dude coming to our neighborhood, he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go back to the stadium. Anyways, going back to Tom and going back to the running game, we got, as much as people think this Buffalo game is going to be a cakewalk because, of course, Buffalo is over.
I don't know who those people are.
A lot of people do. A lot of people have, it's like ESPN has raised it every week or every day, seeing our chances to win. It was at 50-50 on Monday. Now they got it to like 69%. I'm like, look,
listen,
I
mean, the Bills still ain't beat a team with a winning record. Your guys have a winning record. That intimidates the Bills.
And the biggest thing with me also, the Bills haven't played a primetime game all this season. We've been on primetime for whatever reason at least 4 times. I mean,
like we've had outside of the Patriots, your dynasty is the best.
Right. The thing is I'm not going to sleep those. I didn't sleep the Cardinals last week. You damn sure know I'm not going to sleep a team with a winning record.
I think you win 10-7.
I'm going to say 17. I'm going to actually take it higher. I'm going to say 21-17.
All right, then I'll go 17-13.
Okay, that's cool. You can roll with that. While we're at it, since you're going to go ahead and give you your commentation, or go ahead for the Pro Bowl. Go ahead and vote for all my Steelers defensive players on the Pro Bowl. I'd rather have a whole. I was going to say vote for Patrick Mahomes for Pro Bowl because you know you're not going to get the first ballot. That's definitely going to Lamar Jackson. But I don't want Tom Brady to be at the Pro Bowl. I'd rather Pat be at it. So
I would love for Tom Brady to be at the Pro Bowl.
No, I don't want Tom Brady to be at the Pro Bowl or the Super Bowl. Neither. I want Tom to go ahead off to the sunset. Man, I just don't want to see Tom Brady at all. Once off season comes, go ahead with Giselle.
Pro Bowl. Why not?
Yeah, we never know. Go take my train station.
It was something I wanted to touch. You got any more Steelers stuff?
No, we good on this one.
Skipped our
all I can say is looking at the draft time. When draft time comes up,
man, we got
not that far. I'm just saying I really think they keep talking about we need to draft a wide receiver. I actually am looking at the chemistry with Hodges and Washington, and I say I think we good.
You need a number.
The Mason thing is done. We do need a number 1, and Juju's not it.
I know.
But I don't think you're going to get it. You're not going to get a number 1 in the draft in the second. Well, you could. I mean, Michael Thomas slipped in the second round. But I honestly think at this point, free agency. But I don't know who's out there in free agency outside of a crazy guy that's in Miami that I know the Steelers will never
look at. Your guy is still out there.
Who?
You know who your guy is.
I said the crazy guy in Miami that's living in Miami right now that ain't no one going to touch with him. Yeah. You know, the one that calls himself the GOAT. Free the GOAT. The GOAT.
Oh,
the GOAT.
I thought he meant free Tom Brady from being in jail with the receivers that he has. He was talking about himself?
He can't call no one. That's a slap to Jerry Rice. Randy Moss.
I thought he was talking about free Tom Brady. I thought free the GOAT was free Tom Brady and let him out of jail so he can have somebody to throw to.
No, he's talking about himself.
Oh, he ain't no damn GOAT. He's crazy.
You didn't watch the whole thing. A friend of mine pointed it out. I thought the same thing.
I've tuned him out. You see, we didn't even talk about this week's tweet. I've tuned him completely out because it's really a waste of airtime.
Well, it's because cocaine is a hell of a drug.
A cocaine and whatever else he's on. What else we got? You were supposed to do a rant this week. You doing it?
Nah, we good with the rant. I mean, there's no point right now ranting about because I was gonna go back to more officiating stuff, but I think we killed that one.
We got about 5 minutes left. and I know we normally never close on the NBA because it's football season, we do have a conversation pending about the coincidence of the Rockets losing a basket every game since the protest game.
Oh, God. Here we go
What?
again.
We got 5 minutes left. We are under time for the first time ever. And you said we were going to talk about it. I said we was going to talk about it. We kind of skipped right by it. But ever since that game, the Rockets has lost the bucket. And I told you, and this is why we got heated last week, or I got heated last week, is when you allow officials to start arbitrarily saying what baskets are good and what baskets are not without use of video, it's a problem. Yesterday's game, while the Rockets did not lose this game, the very first possession they had, P.J. Tucker makes a three in the corner. 5 minutes goes by before the first break, and the referees, without looking at video, take the basket off the floor. Take it off the scoreboard. Say he stepped out of bounds. Well, why did you call it good in the first place? Can you do that? Can you call it good and change your mind without actually looking at the play? I'm confused. Because if you can do that, why the hell didn't you do it on the James Harden dunk 2 weeks ago?
So can I ask a question? Since it was 5 minutes later and not like 30 seconds later, could that have been Secaucus?
No.
You know, the NBA headquarters telling them to do that versus them doing it themselves?
No. There was no explanation. The referees, as soon as the timeout occurred, they wiped that basket off, and we were all looking at it, including Matt that does their broadcast. All of a sudden, the Rockets scored, and initially, this is how bad it was. Initially, it went from 10 to 7. We all thought, okay, the 3 was going to be changed to a 2. And then it never changed to 9. It just stayed at 7. And then we get an explanation that he stepped out of bounds. Well, I'm sorry, excuse me. And even Secaucus, don't they got to be asked for a review?
Well, sometimes they actually can't.
In the first quarter?
The rest and do it. Sometimes Secaucus can override. That's why I thought it was the weird thing about the 2 points is Secaucus can override the refs.
Ever since the Rockets protested the outcome of that game, they have had at least one basket taken off of the scoreboard ever since. At least one. And J-Dub believes I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I can live on that this time. Only because I have watched these games, and I've watched the Rockets lose points. They did lose another game because of these points, but no one made a big deal out of it because we were just exasperated from the last time and the fact that the Rockets need to learn how to close games.
Please don't tell me the Kings game you're talking about that one.
I believe so.
Can I say something?
Did they lose that game?
Here's the thing with the Kings game. Yeah, they lost by the 3-pointer. But can I say something about the Kings game? Here's the thing with the Kings game. One, they lost to a Kings team that don't have their 2 best players, the local kid, De'Aaron Fox.
Listen,
and
it's really
they
not
lost
about
to that
who they're losing to. It's
23
about
turnovers.
Getting the points that you put through the hoop. That's the entire point of basketball, is to put that ball through that little orange cylinder thing and through those nets.
Right, and not turn over the ball 23 times in a game.
If I put a ball through through that hoop and through those nets, the points should count.
But if I give the ball to the other team and hand it to them, that also causes them not to score a basket because it's pointed for the other team.
I get it. They should beat these teams. I understand that. I 100% concur with that. These games should not be close. They should not be close. I agree with you on all of that. But none of that changes the fact that when you score and there was not a whistle to take that point off due to a violation, the baskets should count. And you don't come back 5 minutes later and take a basket off of the scoreboard, change it to a turnover, and give us no explanation other than he stepped out of bounds. Where did you find this out at? And why didn't you know it when you said it was a 3-point basket? Why didn't you know it then? Why do you know it 5 minutes later? Something is going on. And you know how referees are. You know how they protect each other. I know damn well that these referees talked about how the Rockets bitched about that game they lost by those 2 points when they got that dunk taken off the board. And you know these referees already don't like calling fouls for James Harden. Now the league gives them a freaking pass to start taking baskets off of the damn scoreboard.
Oh, God. Oh, my bad. This is actually your rant, but.
Nah, you're good, man.
No.
Anyway.
If I'll say this, I'm going to pay more close attention to these Rockets games in that aspect. If they do it maybe one or two times, I may roll with you with this answer.
It's been every game.
As of right now, the conspiracy theory is up there with the man on the moon.
Bro, it's happened every game since that game. What do you mean you need a couple more games?
Because I don't believe it's a conspiracy. A coincidence, maybe. I just think the Rockets ain't winning games. I just don't think the Rockets are winning games. They're losing games because of the fact that they're just underachieving to teams that they should be killing them. But
they are turning around. Russ is fitting in better. I expect them to really go on a run after Valentine's Day. I'm still waiting till then for this chemistry to build. Anyway.
Wait, time out. Who gets hurt?
Neither one of those guys are known for getting hurt, so I don't.
Because the only time the Rockets go on a roll is somebody gets hurt. Let's go back. When Dwight got hurt, when he was still there, they went on a hell of a run. That's what made him trade bait. Chris Paul got hurt last year. They went on a hell of a run.
No,
that's why he became trade bait.
Like if you said you didn't watch the game yesterday. This is how I kind of, when I watch the games, I kind of find myself commentating without actually wanting to. And every time Russ, and you can see him do it, every time Russ decided, there's only one word that you can say in the amount of time that it takes him to go past his defender to the rim. And that word is just bye. And I said it at least 7 times yesterday, and it's just bye-bye. And seriously, when he decides to go, and he has been doing that more, he was coming off of that knee surgery last year, and I think his legs are starting to get under him. So he's been a lot more aggressive, at least these last 2 games. We'll see today because this is the second half of a back-to-back. So we'll see. I expect them to go on a huge run after the break, though. I really do. Anyway, you got anything else?
We good.
All right. That's our time.
Have a happy weekend.
Yeah, that's our time for the day. We did go a little bit over with my AK rant, but I'm all right with that.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah. We'll see you 1:15 next Sunday. I'm KCReginaldJr.
It's the band J-Dub in the building.
This has been Underdawg Sportz.
Peace.